Rawdawg and some randoms. Usually mostly careful though. Always using protection. Double bagging it sometimes just to make sure there's no seepage. Because gonorrhea, herpes, and stuff. I don't want that.
Rawdawg Football Talk. Strap it up.
Well, what's going on, fellas? We don't want no seepage. We don't want no seepage.
More about our intro every time. Did he really? I don't want none of that herpes or diarrhea.
Gonorrhea. Yeah.
Like,
you don't want no seepage.
Syphilis.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's some serious shit if you're having sex.
Hey, it's one of those, intros that it's a hook, man. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
football talk, bro.
Just
sitting there watching the game, talking about Rawdawg and some randoms.
Right. Well, good evening, guys, gentlemen.
Good evening. Yeah, guys. Hey, man, what a great weekend of NFL football, man. It was interesting, and it was record numbers. I forgot what the actual numbers were, but I think they had the record viewing. I think it was 20-something million viewers per game. That's a hell of a lot, if you ask me. But
yeah, I mean, that's killing it for the first game.
Yeah, what a great week of football. Some really great games. We'll get
to what I think, Brian, is that it's partly due to that more and more people can start gambling and betting on the betting applications.
It's coming this year, motherfuckers, for Missouri. We will be able to lose our money and get high.
That's right.
The next state, man. Welcome to California life and Colorado life.
Exactly.
All right, fellas, let's go ahead and get into our show. It is a freaking packed show, guys. We got a lot of stuff to cover, so we won't talk too much more, and we'll get right on into it.
All right, let's go now.
All right. So we're going to talk about some of the biggest news going on in the NFL. A little bit, this one's kind of on our own. We're going to talk about what were some of the biggest takeaways from the first week of season play for you guys. We'll start with you, Kevin. How did you get watch any games? What was your thought?
I got to watch. Yeah, I got to watch them as many as I could. My wife and I did have to make a quick trip up to Wyoming on Sunday, but we caught what we could. And but one of the big takeaways was the San Francisco 49ers. Man, they're back in the game already. So, I mean, I went from San Francisco to Baltimore. Now I'm going, well, maybe San Francisco. So, hey,
you might have jumped that ship
a
little too early.
I'm not giving up anything yet. So
I did too, though. I mean, I kind of abandoned ship too. But all right. So the San Francisco 49ers, kind of a big one for you. That's a big takeaway.
Yep.
What about you, Donald?
I kind of got two, right? One's just a note, but my biggest takeaway is we really do need a better decision-making process for preseason. So many teams, you could just tell that the starters were not ready.
Oh,
They're
man, you could see it. And, yeah, I'll tell you one of my big takeaways after yours. But it has to do with that.
After week one, I still say I could see it being a San Francisco 49er and Baltimore Super Bowl. Those were the two best teams as far as full-rounded football teams for week one.
So here's the thing. If the Baltimore Ravens would have played a cleaner game, because that's one of the big notes that I have here is mistakes. The Ravens shot themselves in the foot. I don't know how many illegal procedures they started off with. It was getting annoying when the tackle was lined up too much in the backfield.
Yeah.
So it kind of got a little bit annoying, and that's kind of one of the big takeaways for me is the amount of penalties that we seen in this first week. I kind of went through, checked it out. There was 16 games played, 2,399 plays ran, a total of 258 flags thrown. But out of those, only 216 penalties were called for a total of 1,707 yards in penalty yards, and a total of 28 penalties were declined. And the biggest infractions were by the Cowboys and the Browns, both walking away with 11. So they got for penalties this week, I gave them a C. And how did I go about that? I looked at the games played and I divided it by penalties called, and they got a solid C there. But that was kind of one of the things I noticed, and it was kind of frustrating. And what is that due to? Probably a lack of them getting the game time right and getting to play. And so you're seeing it, right? We're seeing it from the lack of that game, those extra game that you would have in the preseason. And a lot of these teams didn't even play a lot of their starters right off at all either. And in some of these holdouts, right? Like even for the San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, you could see him and the timing. There's a couple balls where I was like, man, damn, he should have caught that. And that's normally something he would have probably caught. But is it due to him holding out, kind of, having that distraction going on? It's hard to say. Well, out there, everybody watching, what are you guys thinking out there? Do you guys have any thoughts on the first week of football? Any big takeaways for you guys? We'll go ahead and get on into the second interesting thing that we had here. And Miami Dolphins receiver arrested outside of the stadium before the game, and that was Tyreek Hill. His agent's calling for the police officers to be fired. Now, I don't know if you guys got to see any video footage of this, but I mean, he had a lot of his fans just sitting there on their cell phones, man. I mean, but he got hit up.
I was quick to making a meme.
Yeah,
I had the meme up before he got uncuffed.
And there's the good glory photo for himself. He got hemmed up, man. And I did see a press conference with him. I think it was today.
Yep.
And it does look like he is starting to say, I'm not beyond the law, and I should have, obviously he didn't cooperate with the police. He got pulled over for a reason. Did they manhandle him beyond? That's to be determined. But yeah, man, I mean, that's got to be hard to be sitting there right outside your stadium in cuffs. And everybody's driving into the game like, hold up, is that Tyreek Hill?
Yeah. So, I got a different theory on this, man. I think this just goes to show how important fantasy football really is, because I think that cop didn't get Tyreek, and he was going against the guy that did get Tyreek, and he said, I got you. Watch this. I'll just arrest your players. You won't have them.
He's like, wait, does his license plate say Ty Hill? And then the number, it probably does. I don't know. I'm just messing around, but
nah, I just think,
dude, I got that dude against my fantasy. Pull his ass over now.
Yeah, I think he just had an attitude. And thought he could get away with speeding whatever it was, 80 miles an hour, whatever it was. I don't know what it was. But yeah. And then they just, they said, hey, we've had enough. Jumping out of that car, just getting ready to get to the first game. He's late, whatever it is. But he tried to use his celebrity to try to get out of it, and took it a little too far. That's what I think.
Yeah, and that's 100% right. I think he, thought off right up. Right, well, Tyreek Hill. I'm playing for the
Yeah,
Miami Dolphins.
exactly.
And this guy is like, I don't give a fuck who you are.
Mhm.
Get out the car. Like at this point in time, I'm not trying to worry about who you're playing against and who you are.
Right.
He's got a job to do. So I mean, I don't really know. I wasn't there, but
I will tell you, if you think about it, right? I do look at a lot of comparison to athletes at that level and our military troops. All right. When you come back from battle and when you're going to battle, it's about focus, right? You become a different man. And everything gets magnified, right? Your emotions, everything. I kind of look at it the same way. You think about all the supplements that these guys are on and everything else, and then the mindset that they have to go into that and play football at that level.
Yeah, and I imagine he's bumping some, freaking get ready music,
Yep. Not that it excuses his behavior. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But we
No,
have the thing. Troops come back, they got that same chip on their shoulder, that same ego, and they end up in jail too.
Yeah, and they think that, well, I served or I'm this or that. And, sometimes a cop really don't give a hoot. You know what I mean? Like, well, good for you. Get your ass in the car. Like.
You can serve your country in jail too, bitch.
Right, 100%. All right, we're going to be moving on to the next set of news, and I bet this right here really shocked some fantasy owners. But 49ers running back McCaffrey status is uncertain versus the Vikings. But what about Jordan Mason, the third season running back, coming off of a 28-carry, 147 yards, averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and he had one touchdown. He looked good, and at this rate in time, what it kind of shows me is that 49er offense of the line is just as good as they are, right? And that proved that they made a good choice, making sure they locked in on their tackle, and but yeah, man, it probably, like I said, it probably shocked a lot of fantasy owners out there, a little bit, because people were still thinking Christian McCaffrey could still go.
Well, how many people had Mason on their team?
Right, he was I promise you, he's one of those wire pickups that a lot of guys were going after, and
I think he probably got drafted more than at least in the higher level.
The bigger ones, the 12+ team ones.
Not just that, but the higher dollar entry fees, these big high roller leagues. It's pretty customary to handcuff your first round pick. So if I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey, I'm going to follow it back up with his backup, especially after last year, seeing that McCaffrey's not invincible anymore. He can be hurt,
Right.
So there probably was several people out there, if they did, do that rule, my number one round pick, I better handcuff him. So if he does get hurt, I have the backup. The philosophy is still going to stay the same. If you're a run heavy team, you're going to run heavy with that backup too.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think it was as severe as it was. I really thought they were kind of playing it off as a preseason thing. Keep the opponent guessing, and because they really did kind of. I mean, no one really knew what was going on up until I think maybe Saturday timeframe. They made that announcement. I'm not sure when they actually pulled the plug. Even it could have been at game time. But I know a lot of people were banging on, McCaffrey but dude, here's the other thing, and hear me out. The Madden cover curse. It raises that question, right? Is there still that Madden cover curse? Because McCaffrey's already guess who the cover of this season is?
Yep.
Our boy Christian McCaffrey. So but you know what? The 49ers doesn't look like they have a lot to worry about, because even they are pretty solid at the running back position. I mean, even the other dude that backs up Jordan Mason ain't a bad deal either. So, I pretty much feel that anybody they plug in that backfield right now, those offensive linemen were controlling the trenches there. And that's what it takes to move that ball. And Brock Purdy actually came out looking decent, man. I think a lot of people were were shocked with how good he was doing.
Yeah, I thought Brock Purdy came out and did a damn good job, man.
David, what up, brother?
How's it going, David?
Yeah, Brock definitely did a a lot better job than I think a lot of people were projecting him to do. And the 49ers didn't look bad, man. They're a team to definitely be reckoned with. The Chiefs, I don't think they looked all right, but the to me, the Ravens kind of handed them that game. I don't know if you guys watched that finish where the dude's toe, they would have been in. Yeah. I mean, he was saying 2 points. I don't know if Harbaugh was legit going to go for 2 or if he was saying 2 just to try to get a playoff, but maybe call time. So they didn't have time to review that because it was so close, man. But dude, by a freaking toe.
We'll never know. But yeah, I mean, that whole game could have turned around.
The Ravens hurt themselves.
People
played
ugly when they say that the game. This is a game of inches, not yards. It's a game of inches.
Yep, and that's 100%, man. And you and controlling the ball and the clock, right? That's a big part. But what a game, man! That dude literally his toe. He's just like, gosh, damn! If I would have just curled my toe a little bit there, like. Man, and now here's the thing. Back in the day, they would have never caught that. That would have been a touchdown. That would have been 100% touchdown. But now they got these cameras lined up right on the lines.
Yeah.
And I mean, they got so many camera angles that these it's hard to get past any of these plays anymore.
Yeah.
But even in the college level, they even call these guys for targeting. Yep. And they'll go back and review and see, did that dude hit him with the crown of his head? Boom. All right, he's gone. Eject him for targeting. I was like, damn, I was watching I'll tell you what, the refs were definitely throwing them flags, man. And they were hitting those guys hard because I guess that's kind of a new rule too with the O-line, especially the tackles basically lining almost already in the backfield, right? With their long ass stance, their 1 foot's almost already back there. So now they're really cracking down on that, making them dudes line up to the line. And you could tell for the Ravens, it was killing them. I don't know how many illegal procedures they had. It was almost annoying. But all right, fellas, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and move on into our next segments. But before we do, let's take a quick commercial break because this event comes up this weekend.
Join us for Hero Stock, a special event dedicated to honoring our veterans and first responders. Experience a day filled with incredible live music performed by those who served and protected our communities. Connect with our nonprofits dedicated to helping our heroes thrive. Discover the services available to support our veterans and first responders in their journey. Bring the whole family. Kids will love the fun activities designed just for them. Reconnect with your community and celebrate the courage and sacrifice of our heroes at Hero Stock. Join us for a day of music, support, and togetherness. Check us out today on www.herostock.org.
All right. We're going to talk kind of about what happened around the weekly division review, and we're going to bring up the power ranking after week 2. And this is based off of Fox NFL. I like to kind of get a lot of my stuff from there.
Thank you.
But it kind of shows you what happened and how far or up they went. So let's kind of look through it and see if you guys agree with this. KC still rocking number 1. Didn't make a move. San Francisco moved up a spot, which dropped the Detroit Lions down to 3. The Houston Texans moved up 1 spot, and they switched spots with the Eagles. The Ravens moved up 2 spots, which I already thought they were really low, and I still think they're a little too low for my likings.
I do too.
And the Buffalo Bills had moved up 2 spots. The Cowboys moved up 3. Chargers moved up 3. A big move by the Buccaneers, which, man, I'll tell you, when we get to fantasy, I'll talk a little bit about that right there. But the Buccaneers, they're looking solid too. Mayfield, he's just amazing, right? Bengals took a big, hard fall. The whole AFC North in general really played like shit and shocked, I think, a lot of everybody. You see the Browns, they dropped down 6 spots. Green Bay Packers dropped down 8, which I already thought they were a little rated too high to begin with. They're at number 14 now. Bears dropped down to 2, which I wasn't impressed with them. Even though they got the win, they didn't really do nothing on offense. Their defense kind of helped them win that game.
Yeah.
And once again, the Browns now are 16, dropped down to 6. Seattle Seahawks, I got a little love and moved up 2 spots. Steelers moved up a couple spots, and the Steelers defense did look very tough. Atlanta Falcons took a hard fall and dropped 5, which they looked horrible. Jacksonville Jaguars they're down 2. They're at number 20. The Saints, I think, they bounced up 7. Derek Carr looked really good. He was firing on all cylinders and was just carving away on them, hitting all his, a lot of passes and stuff. So he looked good. So not really shocked that move. The Minnesota Vikings moved up a spot. The Colts moved down 2 spots to 23. Cardinals jumped down 2 to 24. The Chargers moved up 1. Whatever there. The Titans dropped 2. Patriots went up 4, which the Patriots actually look a lot better than I think Donald was thinking.
Yeah.
and it's like, damn, Donald, you talk so much trash about this team, bro, and then who do you meet week 1?
Yep.
And then so we'll talk more about that whole debacle in the Bengals. The Washington Commanders dropped 3 spots to 28. Broncos dropped down 2 spots to 29. Not really shocked. The Raiders dropped down 1 spot to 30, and the New York Giants down 1 to 31, and then Panthers ain't moving nowhere. They're solid right there at the 32 spot. But do you guys want to weigh in on any of this?
I definitely don't think that the Raiders should have dropped. I get it that their quarterback's not all that great, but if you look at how many yards that Adams had, that Brock Bowers played a great game, in my opinion. For a rookie tight end, he had almost 60 yards in reception. So absolutely. I don't think that you can knock the Raiders for the way they played and then make the Chargers out to be a better team and move them up 1. Which is it? Did they beat a slumpy, crappy team, or did they beat a team that is a contender, in contention, at least with them? I don't think because you beat a crappy team, that would be like moving the Bengals up because they beat the Patriots, had they played the way I expected them to. And I just
like the Raiders are going to be last in the AFC West. And that's huh?
You think who is?
The Raiders. I think the Chargers do finish above them. And
I do too. I do too.
and it's only comes down to coaching here, right? Like
Mhm.
Harbaugh is a great coach, and he has a way to himself. And that quarterback, that rookie, I don't know if he's a rookie, but the quarterback they had playing for him,
For
you
the
know,
Raiders,
Harbaugh is a good quarterbacks coach, man, and he knows how to coach well. So,
they have a backup quarterback playing for him. Minshew will never be a good starting first quarterback. Never.
for the Raiders, yeah. I
Even
like
if
his name.
Even if he used Doc Goodbeard's products for his mustache, it still would not help him.
No,
And that stuff helps everybody.
exactly.
Damn right, man. What about you, Kevin? You got any weigh-ins on this?
Well, I'll weigh in on Denver. I mean, they got 2 safeties. And went down
Their
to the end of,
defense looked good.
yeah, they went down to the end of the game. They scored 20 points. So again, I'm gonna go back to saying that first week, none of this means anything right now. And I'll tell you, same thing in fantasy. As you guys know, in the beginning of before the beginning of the first game, it tells you how you did in the draft and where your power rankings are. And so I was ranked 11 out of 12, and my son was ranked 12. So now the first game plays, and my son's now ranked number 1.
It happened
And
to
I
me
went
too.
to
I'm like
number
number 2
6.
now, and I was like at the bottom. But yeah, exactly. I
So
mean, rankings are they're but these ones are a little bit more true now, right? We got some gameplay, but I still don't necessarily agree with some of the orders that they got them in, because for me, the Ravens, to me, lost that game themselves by playing shitty. It would have been a lot closer of a game, and honestly, the penalties will kill you. It does hurt you bad. All right, we'll kind of talk about the week 2 schedule real quick and go into who's playing. We got the Bills versus the Miami. That's the Thursday night game. I think that's going to be a really good game. That is one of the games we'll be picking from. And I tell you what, guys, I've been struggling with that one. So we'll get to it, though. We got the San Francisco 49ers playing the Minnesota Vikings. We have the Seahawks versus the Patriots, Giants versus the Commanders, Chargers versus Carolina Panthers, Saints, Cowboys, Colts versus the Packers, Browns versus the Jaguars, Jets versus the Titans, Bucks versus the Lions, Raiders versus Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be a good like a bounce back game for the Ravens, if you ask me. Cardinals, Chargers, Chiefs, Bengals. Bengals, man, that's coming off of last week. They should have won this last week. So now starting off 0-1 against the Chiefs going into Arrowhead, gonna be rough for them. Steelers.
I'll save my comments for when we actually break that game down.
Yeah, Steelers, Broncos, Bears versus the Texans, and then we got the Falcons and the Eagles. We got the Bird game on Monday Night Football. Any games that stand out to you guys? Donald, you want to weigh in?
So yeah, look, we're gonna see whether the Bengals are real or not. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Do I think that they're gonna beat the Chiefs? I don't. But I will tell you, there's a lot of people that made a lot of mistakes when it came to Survivor type fantasy leagues. And one of those is when you see such a very lopsided team, Bengals playing against the Patriots, you need to look at that next week and see who they're playing. It doesn't make sense for the Bengals to come out season opener and run a full playbook and show the Chiefs everything that they're going to do. And I'm sure they expected that they were going to just walk out and beat the Patriots with a handicapped playbook, and it didn't happen. And so if my theory is right, you're going to see a much better Bengal team. They'll be much more competitive. I think they've gotten too much off the field drama and everything else to happen for them to be united enough to beat the Chiefs. But I think you'll see a much better Bengals team than you did in week 1.
They got to. They don't have a choice. They're going into Arrowhead, and the Chiefs also are coming off of, to me, yes, they're probably high off their win versus the Ravens, but now they got to show week 2, that they got to clean up some of their game as well. They didn't play a really clean game either, and they're going to have to play a really clean game against the Bengals. The Bengals do have a tough defense for, the Chiefs. But Kevin, any games stand out to you?
Yeah, tomorrow night's game, Buffalo and Miami. That's always a good game. I also think Miami and the Jets are always a good game. But in Buffalo's going to be going down to Miami, but I think they're going to take it. I think Josh Allen and the boys are going to come on strong on Thursday night, and I think I'm ready for that one.
It is going to be a shootout, but both of those two teams also played super sloppy football.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the red zone, which I found to really love that. I mean, it was literally, whenever people were getting ready to score, and I got to watch just about every single game,
exactly,
and see what was going on. But I got to say, they were playing really sloppy, and they turned it on in the second half. But in that first half, I was, because I had them as my defense too on fantasy. But geez, I was, oh gosh, they're in trouble. You know what I mean? But so that game is one of our pick'ems, and that one is going to be a struggle because I'm still haven't really determined, because the game is in Miami, right? So home field advantage does sometimes play a part. But we'll have to see. But we'll see. It's some really good games. We'll go ahead and move on to our next segment, which before we do, we're going to take a little quick break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Veteran Voice Radio, where we honor the brave and celebrate their stories through music. Tune in to two incredible stations, Ranger Rockwave and Simplify Country. On Ranger Rockwave, experience the raw energy of alternative rock featuring talented musicians who are veterans and military family members. Their powerful stories and unforgettable tunes will inspire you and keep you rocking. Switch over to Simplify Country, where the heart of country music meets the spirit of service. Enjoy heartfelt ballads and toe-tapping tunes from veterans and their families sharing their journey through song. Join a community that honors those who serve. Veteran Voice Radio, music with a mission. Discover Ranger Rockwave and Simplify Country at veteranvoiceradio.com, or you can also download the app on Apple or Google and let the stories of our heroes resonate through your speakers.
Come on. Not over yet.
I'm really excited for this segment. It's our Rawdawg picks. A little drum roll. See how we finished.
Let's
after
do it, boys. I'm
week
ready.
1, boys. Oh, glazed donut on that lost column for me. What a good weekend though for all of us though. Really, I finished off 5-0. Kevin 4-1, and Donald 4-1 as well. We'll kind of run you through it. So the Chiefs won the Ravens, obviously, and that one right there, Kevin took a loss there. He really thought the Chiefs were gonna beat the Ravens, and his switch on picks show that. So he went with who he thought would go, and Donald didn't have as much faith for that game for the Ravens because he's picked the Ravens as his
Yep.
Super Bowl winners. He obviously knew something there. The Packers-Eagles, the Eagles took that one. We all took a W there. Texans-Colts, the Texans won that one. We all got a W there. The Rams-Lions, that game was a really close one. We didn't even talk about that one. Ended in the first weekend overtime, right? What a close one that one was. And we all, I was kind of at the edge of my seat like, damn, I really wanted the Rams to win, but I picked the Lions, so I was struggling. And plus these fantasy damn players make it hard too, because I'm like, oh, I want my Rawdawg picks to go through, but some of these guys are playing, for the team.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the Jets 49ers, this is where Donald went with the Jets, and he had a little bit more confidence. I think he thought that a lot of that off-field stuff during the offseason kind of hurt the 49ers, but it may have hurt Brandon Ayuk, but the rest of the team was out there playing solid football, especially that O-line. So that is how it ended. 5-0 for myself, Kevin and Donald, both 4-1, and we're going to get ready for regular season week 2, baby.
Good job, guys, on week 1, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is a good one. And I think this week right here, it's going to get a little tougher, right? I try to switch it up a little bit, but how I'm going to go ahead and do it, we're going to hit the Thursday night game, one Sunday AM game, one Sunday PM game, a Sunday night game, and the Monday night game.
Ooh, I like it.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we'll kind of determine which games we go and predict on. But we'll go ahead and just get this baby rolling, and I'm gonna pick last on this one. I'm gonna go ahead with Kevin on the Bills Fins.
I'm taking the Bills, man.
The Bills. All right.
The Bills.
Bills, Donald.
I am going Dolphins. And I just don't think that the Bills secondary is going to be able to handle this wide receiver core.
Whew. Yeah, man. Darn it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling with this one. Still struggling with this one. But I do think I like the Bills better in this one. Unfortunately, the Dolphins looked too sluggish. They can't come out. That's even though the Bills kind of did too. Oh, all right. I'm going Bills here, and my gut's telling me Miami, guys. So damn it, next week if I'm over here kicking myself in the ass. All right. So game 2, we got the Saints versus the Cowboys. Donald,
I got to go with them boys.
Them boys, yeah, them boys looking kind of tough, man. Dak and them boys.
It's a badass defense.
But them Saints were looking pretty good too. And but Derek Carr is he's got a little bit tougher of a defense, and they are playing in Dallas. What are you thinking, Kevin?
They're got to go with Dallas. I mean, they're playing in Dallas.
The boys.
Yep, going with the boys. So the Bills and the boys.
Dad, I know you're probably disappointed in my pick here, because I'm not going to be rocking the Saints here. I do think it's going to be a little tough for them going in Dallas. But if they end up beating the Cowboys, I'm going to be not going against them much more. So I think that's a true test for the Saints, right? To kind of caveat their game off the first week. They did what they were supposed to do against the Carolina Panthers. But that we obviously the Panthers are the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
And so they did what they were supposed to do. So the Cowboys is going to be a tougher game for them, but the Cowboys are going to squeak this one off, and it's going to be 2017 in my opinion. I got the boys as well. We got game 3, and I think this one is going to be a tough one to kind of decipher as well. But I think the Steelers defense looked really good, and Bo Nix is still rookie, and he's going to be really tested. And I love to see the Broncos get a win here, but I don't think this is the one for them. Unfortunately, I'm going Steelers here. All right, Kevin.
All right. I'm going Broncos, and
And Fave.
I'll tell you why. It's the home opener. The crowd's going to be really into it. Um, Wilson will be there. People, even if he's not playing, which he won't be, but people will be pumped up. I always know how these first games go because, I've got the season tickets to the Broncos. So I got a little bit of loyalty. But honestly, I do. I think our defense will take them on, and Justin's going to be running around, and I think the crowd will be into it, and I'm going to pick the Broncos by 3.
Yeah, if they do it, it's going to be up to their defense.
Yep.
All right, Donald, what are you thinking here, bud?
I think if I was Bo Nix while I was on the ground, I would ask Mr. TJ Watt if I could get his autograph, because I am pretty sure that he is going to meet TJ up close.
All time.
Yep.
Because the TJ Watt's going to lay a hand on him even if he throws the ball. So,
I just think that this is going to be a little bit too much for the Broncos to handle. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who their quarterback is. They're both about the same. So I don't think that quarterback drama is really going to affect the Steelers as much as people think. A lot of people want to see the Russell Wilson start just because it's going against the Broncos, but I think that's overhyped. I don't think Russell Wilson really has any ill feelings and wants to score against his team, or I think he just wants to win, and he doesn't give a shit who the quarterback is.
Yeah, if anything, the Broncos might want to beat his ass, right? Like, they might want to bury him in the ground because if you ask me, he about destroyed them. But yeah, so you're going Steelers here?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's going to be an interesting. We're all picking kind of a lot different here, so this is going to be an interesting weekend for all of us. This one right here, Bears versus the Texans. Donald.
All I got to say is, why couldn't that running back do that when he played for us? 159 yards? Are you kidding me? That's like 3 games when he played for the Bengals. Joe Mixon, come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm going Texans, man.
Texans. And I as well. I am going to go with the Texans here. The Bears, I think, Caleb Williams he's struggling back there a little bit, right? I think the same preseason, everybody's playing their stars out there, and he struggled as a rookie, right? We do have, as we talk about that real quick, we're gonna bring up how the week 1 all the rookies looked. Let me see here. Take this comment thing down. So based off of the numbers, Jaden Daniels from the Commanders had a really good game, 17 out of 24 for 272 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Caleb Williams, 14 of 29, 108 yards, no touchdowns. Bo Nix, threw his little heart out too to, 26 out of 42, 173 yards, 1 touchdown. This is how the week 1.
Look at those teams too. Look at who they played. I mean, the Bears did have a much tougher game, but sure. Caleb definitely looked rookie, right? There's no doubt in my mind about that. I don't think Jaden Daniels out of these 3 rookie quarterbacks is the best quarterback.
You're right. He probably won't finish better than all of them. He had a great first week. And
Yes.
you're right. Opponents matter, defenses and stuff like that as well.
Mhm.
We'll see. It only time will tell there. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to our next and final picks. Let me move.
No, I
this.
didn't pick last one, man.
You picked the Broncos.
What about Houston?
Oh, I haven't even picked there. Yeah. I'm bringing that back up. None of us did.
No, Donald did.
I did. I took Houston.
Okay, yeah, that's right. All right, let me bring it back up.
You just got excited with all the rookie quarterbacks, man.
Yeah.
I did. And plus, I'm looking at our names, so I accidentally looked at our names and counted it as one time. So I thought we've already gone 4. All right, so back to here. Donald is with the Texans. I went Texans here. And
I'm going Texans too.
All right, we got
All right.
all 3 of us there with the Texans. All right, final game. We got the bird game here on Monday Night Football. We got the Falcons versus the Eagles. Do the Falcons go 0 for 2?
Yes.
All right, what do you're going with the Eagles here?
I am. I'm going with the Eagles.
Okay. Donald.
Falcons don't have Robinson. Therefore, they don't have a running game.
And Kirk Cousins didn't look good. Boy.
Kirk Cousins didn't look good. He did not look like $135 million. That's for
I think
sure.
he threw like 2 interceptions and just.
So I definitely think the Eagles are a more complete team, and I'm going to go Eagles.
I think Jalen Hurts going to put a hurting on them and going to fly high for the Eagles on this one. I think they're going to beat them 23-17. I say, I don't know. It'll be a decent. Might be a little bit more of a shootout than we think. We'll see. But I don't know. If Kirk Cousins comes out like he did last week against the Eagles, I don't think.
Yeah,
he's got to come out without a better game.
He's got to get his shit together, man.
Yeah, he does. All right, fellas, we'll go ahead and move on to our next segment. Let me get us all queued up for it. And before we do, we'll take a quick break.
Welcome to Every Day is a Saturday USMC Veteran, the podcast that shines light on the incredible stories of military veterans and first responders. Join us as we invite heroes to share their journeys, unpacking their experiences in service, the transition to civilian life, and the realities of overcoming or dealing with PTSD. From military service to everyday life, hear how they're navigating challenges and finding purpose in the world today. Each episode is a testament to resilience, hope, and the power of community. Tune in to Every Day is a Saturday USMC Veteran because every day is worth celebrating. Follow on your favorite listening platform or go to www.edasusmcvet.com.
All right. Fantasy football time. And, man, I had a way better weekend than the AI had projected me to do, just like you were kind of saying earlier. I think I was 8 out of 12. Now I'm the number 2 team, and definitely had a decent weekend. What about you guys?
I did not have the weekend that I would hope. Mr. Nuka Puka is going to be sleeping for the next minimum of 4 weeks. So there went one of my not first round pick, but he was in the top 3. So that hurt. And then the other thing I got to explain. So for my league, this is a family league. It's been around for 15 years or so. We do not go head to head for week one. We play all of our players, and everybody puts an extra $5 in the pot, and the winner gets the money from that. Our league starts in week 2, and the reason for that is because this league was running when they only had 17 weeks instead of 18 weeks. And so to still play the playoffs at the same amount of time and everything, we just threw this in so that our season starts one game later.
Well, that's kind of interesting. I like
Yeah.
that. So good old Bray and Christian was probably like, damn it. I mean, it was within 10 points there,
Yeah. And Christian.
And good old Don, you're down there, bro, right about where your picks were.
Let me tell you, Christian's like 16 and Bray's like 13. So
oh dang. And I gotta ask, what happened to Deb? Did Deb just have Christian McCaffrey still in, or what happened there?
Oh, Deb, that's pretty much gonna be a high score for Deb, I think. she does not have a good team.
I like his name. I'm gonna pick him.
Yeah, that's yeah, she did not have some good picks, man.
Well, that's cool, man. I kind of like that. So next week we'll get to see how your head-to-head games go. You better pick it up a little bit there, buddy. Now, free agents, that I'm sure there was a lot of people out there in the free agents for fantasy that a lot of people didn't have. I went out there for Blake Mayfield, whatever.
Baker.
Baker Mayfield from the Tampa Bay. I went after him on the wire because I realized, dude, when I started on my fantasy, I didn't realize, oh shit, oh gosh, I have like 3 people all from the Tampa Bay Bucks. I had the running back and both wide receivers, and I just didn't pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. But you know what? It actually paid off for me pretty damn well. Mm-hmm. But when I saw Baker Mayfield, him doing what he was doing, I was like, oh, I'm picking him up, man, because he's looking solid and he's going to be a good quarterback. But Kevin, let's talk about how your fantasy football weekend went, brother.
Yeah,
Team Skunky Funks.
Yep. I did very well this first week out. We have a family league with some friends in there, and we have some teenagers in there, so I know what Donald's talking about. Some of those guys kicked some ass this week. But
yeah, man, because they know all the superstar names, dude. That's those kids. That's what they pay attention to. They only know the superstar names.
Exactly.
Go ask them who the O-lineman is of the Chiefs, or some shit.
Yeah, I think I've got a real tough opponent this week, and I got some questionables, so I'm going to go out there. The waiver wire is different because now we had 12 people in our fantasy league, and for the last 5 years we've only had 10. So it made a lot different on our selections, and now it's really going to make a difference on everything else. So that's where we're at. But I did good going out the first week, guys.
You got that 1-0 going for you.
I got the 1-0, and that's good.
Yep. So all right, we'll go on to myself. I'm the big roof dog over here. Lamar Jackson, man, I knew he was going to be a good quarterback because they ran the ball with him a lot, right? And I think he had at least 10 carries or something.
16.
16 carries. Yeah, something like that. It was something ridiculous, man. I'm just like, I don't know how long he's going to be able to withstand that kind of play. But he's tough, dude. And once they clean it up, he'll probably be well. But I got Baker Mayfield is a backup because I didn't realize going into this either. I only had one quarterback. But a lot of the projections that I had going, I did way better than what they had projected mostly. And like I said, I ended up having 3 Buccaneers on this roster, and it really wasn't a bad move. I went into the gosh damn, I wish I wouldn't have done that. But then when it started going, I was like, well, this might not be a bad thing. They started really airing the ball out, man. So, Goodwin and good old Mike Evans, and I like Mike Evans a lot, right? So, I think they're going to be good for me down the hall. Hopefully,
Mike Evans is always a good fantasy pick, man.
Yep, and so yeah, during the wire, I went and picked up Mayfield, and I think that he'll be a good plug-in for me whenever I need to see how Lamar Jackson holds up. Hopefully he doesn't go down, but I think holding someone like Lamar Jackson, it's a little risky because, dude, if they're going to run the ball with him like over 10 times a game, that's a lot of wear and tear for that quarterback. Because, I mean, he's getting smacked back there too when he's back there trying to pass too, right? So,
Derrick Henry is like, man, this is easy money. I just got a block.
Yep. So, who do you guys think are the big fantasy people to watch for this upcoming week that people are kind of sleeping on?
I think it's Pacheco
for the Chiefs.
Yep.
Yeah, that dude, man, fast too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm looking at watching him this week and seeing what he's going to do.
Yeah, and
but I think he's going to have a big game.
Yeah, definitely going to have a. He's just a shifty back, man. He's got that speed on him.
I think it's going to be. I can't remember his name, Watson, Webster, whatever. The new rookie for the Chiefs. I don't think we got anybody in our secondary that's going to stick with him.
And we'll see how this whole Tyreek Hill saga plays off. But he is someone that you want to have too on your fantasy, because when that dude touches the ball, he is elusive and magical with it, man. He's exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Right. He's one of those exciting backs. He's just hopefully this doesn't land him a suspension or something like that, because there's cameras all over these police officers. They're gonna see all how he was towards the officers, how it all played out, and it's Roger Goodell and all of them are going to have some decisions to make on this eventually, because do you want this to be something that goes on, in your stadiums? Your players are getting there arrested in front of the fans, so they got to find out, was it due justice, which I imagine they pulled them over because school was probably running a little late. There's a lot of traffic around them stadiums, and they don't get these, if they're local to the stadium, they're trying to drive there, they're going to hit all that traffic just like everybody else.
Right. So if this gets into his head, he's not going to have a great game.
Hey, well, he had a great game. He came out on fire, man. He even mocked it when he scored a touchdown. He had his buddy arrest him. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but you know what?
Did you guys see that part when his buddy arrested him and he walked away like he had his hands cuffed?
Yeah. Well, but that's his, like, I'll show you, right?
Well, right. Like that, to me, that wasn't, you should probably you're gonna put that's a little too soon. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that's too soon, bro. You
It's
went a little too
because
soon.
What if he comes out and has this shitty game this weekend and it's like, uh-oh.
I don't know. We'll see though. He he's one of those guys that works really hard during the off seasons.
Yes, he does.
I mean,
He does.
he doesn't quit, man. And that's one thing, and that's why he's so badass the way he is, because he is a workhorse. I've seen videos of him working. You know, he goes to schools, he works with other kids, he does camps, but he's just constantly working.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know that this will really slow him down, right? If anything, it fuels his fire. Like he did come out pretty fired up on again and played a hell of a game for the Dolphins. So we'll see how week 2 goes, because it's going to be a tougher game for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he compared to others, he's not having a bad day. I mean, he could be like Deshaun Watson and have another charge on his ass, you know, another sexual assault charge.
Yep.
I don't know, you know, if these guys still just don't get it, man. You know, they're high profile people, right? They got a lot of money and everybody knows that. And most of their contracts are very public, right? And if you really want to look into it, you could find out exactly their contract deals, and that's just their contract deals. That's not the Nike deals and the Reebok and the Adidas deals they all got going on either, right?
Right.
But anyways, you guys got anything left before we head out and call this game over?
Let's throw one more question out there right before we go.
Let's do it.
Who do you think is going to shit the bed this week?
All right, let's bring up the schedule real quick and take a look and see who shits the bed. And to me, the candidates to shit the bed would be the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a chance to shit the bed against the Bengals, depending on how they come out. The Detroit Lions could shit the bed against the Bucks. The Buccaneers, I think people still are counting out the Bucks, but if they go to Detroit and put up the same kind of numbers they did last week, which it's going to be hard, but if they do something similar and Baker, Mayfield comes out and just lights them up, then that could be an upset for the Detroit Lions at home.
I like that too. I think that could happen. I also think that Seattle's going to shit the bed. I think New England's going to beat them.
Yeah, and it's New England, and in here D's still down on them. It sounds like.
I'm picking them.
That is one of my damn DraftKings survivor picks of Seattle. So I won't be saying that crap.
But they are going into New England, and New England's looking a little tougher than I think people were thinking they were going to be. So we'll see.
Maybe. All
right, fellas. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody out there, please, if you guys would like to share it, like it, all that good stuff. We are live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We don't just cover one single team. We kind of try to hit the, what's the big news in the league and kind of go through all the different games. So it's not specific to any team, even though we do have our fan favorites. But we don't necessarily just stay on them, even though I know sometimes we get a lot of 49er news, and that's just because they have a lot of news coming out all the time. But other than that, you guys can check it out on YouTube and all the different platforms. And I
want to give a shout out to Hero Stock 2024 in Ashland, Nebraska this weekend. And I'm going to be out there with my co-hosts, Donald and Brian. We're going to be out there for a couple of days. And I just want to say, hey, can't wait to get out there. And so check out Hero Stock, everyone. We'll be out there, and you never know. We might even do a little thing out there. So, but support Hero Stock and listen for us next week on Rawdawg Football Talk.
Yeah, baby. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Don't do nothing crazy.
All right, man.